Hi, my name is Vena. I'm originally from Rio, but I live in Nandi. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Bula, I'm John from Kornabuan, Papua. I love listening to Today FM. It rocks.
Bula, I'm Teopola.
Bula, I'm Matanisi.
We love listening to Today FM because it rocks in Ba.
Bula, my name is Tisa. I love listening to Today FM.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
Tonight, disturbing suicide figures revealed. Fijian judiciary being taught how to handle children's rights. An education ministry worried about decline in interest in science subjects.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Spate.
Over 1,000 Fijians have committed suicide or attempted to in the last 6 years. And so far this year alone, the Fiji police force has recorded over a total of 40 such cases, which is becoming a major cause for concern. Sainiani Boiler reports.
And 25 suicide cases. The
Fiji police force has revealed disturbing figures related to suicide cases in the country.
There is an aspect that we must be conscious of, and that is from the last 6 years, 2011 to 2016, a total of 1,105 Fijians of Indian descent and 247 Itoke were victims of both suicide and attempted suicide cases.
And what concerns police is that they are continuing to receive reports of suicide cases, and the numbers for the first 3 months do not paint a good picture.
This year, from January to March, we have recorded 20 suicide cases and 25 attempted suicide cases.
The Ministry of Health and other stakeholders are now working jointly to fight and reduce these alarming stats.
This issue needs a collaborative approach. Any one institution or individual or government or anybody cannot address it alone. It needs the support.
The major causes of suicide or attempted suicides are being attributed to things such as domestic dispute, relationship problems, family disagreements, and financial obligations. However, the major point of discussions between stakeholders is to ensure there is a way for all affected and helping those who need it. Sainiani Mboila, FBC News. Members of the judiciary are being trained on child right protection and how this can be better facilitated in Fiji's justice system. The main aim of this is to ensure that there is equality before the law and that all Fijians have access to justice. Maggie Boyle reports.
Close to 50 members of the judiciary, from High Court judges to magistrates, are in Suva over the next 2 days in an effort to strengthen the justice system.
Equality before the law pervades our courtrooms. It's the access to the courtroom, the access to give voice to what the witness has to say or the litigant has to say in its claim, or his or her claim, that is important.
A first of its kind, the Child Rights Protection Workshop will be facilitated by experts in the field of criminal justice and child psychology.
We have to consider international law. So much of what we may hear from other jurisdictions in the course of these proceedings, these may be useful cases for us to persuade us of a particular point, whether procedural or of substantive law.
For Fiji's courts, the newly acquired knowledge is expected to make an indelible impact on how cases involving children are dealt with.
The recent past, we have a lot of cases where the children are involved that's coming into our court system. So it's very important to have an efficient system through the judicial officers in order to address these issues.
So we're examining the issue of children as victims, as offenders, as witnesses.
With crimes involving children a growing concern, this workshop will aim to ensure court proceedings safeguard the child from further trauma while striking the delicate balance of justice for all. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
Meanwhile, the detention of children in the criminal justice system is the last resort and should only be for the shortest period of time. Fiji's judicial leader says it's important to understand the psychological and physical needs of a child, which is not only complex but a challenging issue. Kelly Vadala reports.
Many children appear in court as victims, offenders and witnesses.
Testifying or admitting a crime in court can be a scary experience for a child. Therefore, it is important to develop techniques that will allow them to express their statements freely.
Some children come to the witness box, they open their mouths and they cannot speak. So there are obviously techniques in this. We must be careful not to over-elevate the child witness.
Solicitor General Sharvada Sharma says the main focus during any such ordeal should be trying to eliminate further traumatizing children or compromising their rights when they are being taken to court.
Children in contact with the criminal justice system are often in vulnerable positions, unaware of their rights, and many a times unable to even enforce them. Whether as children in need of protection, children at risk, children during and upon arrest, during trial, in detention, or as victims and witnesses.
Chief Justice Gates says these are some of the matters judges and magistrates have to understand in order to allow children their best in giving evidence to the court. The comments were made at the reception of Rights of a Child and the criminal justice system as lawmakers and experts gather to discuss how to ensure a child is being protected at all times. Kelly Vadala, FBC News.
The Office of the Director of Public Prosecution has charged 50 people with a total of 43 separate incidents last month. 3 people were charged for attempted murder, 11 were charged for aggravated robbery, 10 people were charged for aggravated burglary, 3 were charged for theft, while 3 others were charged for assault causing actual bodily harm. Others were charged for criminal intimidation, trafficking in persons, perverting the cause of justice, using forged documents, dealing in infringing copy, dealing in proceeds of crime and false representation. There were 30 victims of these serious offences. Still to come, Education Ministry wants more interest in science subjects, and renovated ward handed over to Ministry of Health.
हम लोगों में रहते हैं और मिर्ची एफएम सबसे बेस्ट स्टेशन है।
हमारा नाम मेसी है, हम गोल्ड टाउन तापुआ में रहता है और मिर्ची इज हॉट इन तापुआ।
Hi, we Bagels. We love Mirchi FM because it's hot.
निवेश तवरा में रहता हूँ, सुनता है यहाँ मिर्ची एफएम इज वेरी हॉट।
Mirchi FM, it's hot.
The lack of interest in science subjects by students in secondary schools is standing out like a sore thumb for the Education Ministry. This was highlighted by the Minister for Education, Dr. Mahendra Reddy, who says there is a need to change the notion of science is difficult. Anna Ravulo has more.
The Minister for Education says they have not seen much positive mindset towards science and technology education in Fiji.
This is reflected in the data on students enrolling in science and technology subjects in secondary schools.
Dr. Reddy also highlighted the reasons why students choose other alternate subjects.
The preconceived ideas that science and technology subjects are difficult, that there are a lack of career opportunities in science and technology in Fiji, parents pressurizing children to adapt to career choices that are more readily available and less complicated to attain, and simply because of low interest level of children into science and technology from an early age are some of the main contributing factors.
Meanwhile, the ministry today also recognized those students who excelled in the different science subjects, one in particular a student who traveled from Draketi to receive his award for achieving 100% in chemistry.
I feel very happy. I thank my school principal for allowing me to attend.
This first ever competition is only for Year 9 students, and the ministry today outlined to schools how the competition works and how students can be part of it. Dr. Reddy says the National Science and Technology Competition is a way to draw students in doing science subjects. Anna Ravulo, FBC News.
3 judicial officers have been sworn in by President Major General retired Chiochi Konrote at the State House. Justice Priyantha Jayawardena was sworn in as Judge of the Supreme Court. Justice Frederick Indran Nicholas took oath as a Judge of the High Court, while Resident Magistrate Muhammad Azhar was sworn in as the Acting Master of the High Court. The newly refurbished ANZ ward at the Colonial War Memorial Hospital in Suva was today handed over to the Ministry of Health. Works were carried out by ANZ staff volunteers with the support of a local building contractor, including cleaning, painting, decorating and replacements of materials. Kelly Vadala reports.
This is the third refurbishment of the ANZ ward, the first in 2005 and the second in 2011.
One of the most important things in the health sector is providing that level of comfort to our patients. And I do understand the frustrations of some of those that enter our hospitals because they are not given that level of comfort that they normally expect. And this refurbished ward is indeed, it is going to be a lifesaver. It is going to make those that are admitted to the wards more comfortable, more homely.
The ANZ Bank says they are committed to renovating the ward as part of their Paint Fiji Blue campaign in the country.
This is not going to be a 5-year, 6-year sort of a project. We've decided as a part of our ANZ Fiji Foundation that yes, we will make sure we continue to come in every year to do the small renovation work, and if there are anything required in between that. So we'll keep a certain amount of fund on the site to make sure that yes, we continue to actually adopt this ward and take it to the next level.
Akbar says having such partnerships complements the work of the government to ensure Fijians are well looked after. Kelly Vadala, FBC News.
Police officers of the Nasinu Police and Valilevu police stations are using the 8-day celebration of the Hindu festival Ram Navami to integrate with youths of Nasinu district. The group is led by ASP Crime Valilevu Shanti Lal, who says this is an opportune time to incorporate with the public and discuss the issues faced by the community. The group has held discussions with the members of the community on eliminating violence, reducing crime levels in the country, peer pressure and domestic disputes.
So far, through our strategies of forming this Ramayan Mandli and working together with communities, we have combated crime, and the crime in Nasinu district has been decreased.
Turning to world news, a bomb blast tore through a subway train deep under Russia's second largest city this morning, killing 11 people and wounding more than 40 in a chaotic scene that left victims sprawled on a smoky platform. Hours later, anguish and fear rose again when police found and defused an explosive device at another St. Petersburg station. Coming up later in sports, we will have Jamie telling us about the New Zealand side for the Hong Kong Sevens. But before that, Rachel once again joins us with the latest in business.
Yes, Jackie, coming up in business tonight. Supermarket giant to open more stores. And in growing Fiji, new roads work begin in Nosori. Stay with us.
I'm from Nepal and I love listening to Today FM.
My name is Stanley Girdler and I'm from Australia, but I'm part Fijian from Watraki, and I love listening to Today FM Rocks.
For the best music and less talk, we tune into Today FM in Nasilai Village. Today FM rocks.
My name is Inai Ali and I'm from Ba, and I love the big breakfast on Today FM. I just love it and hope you love it too.
My name is Jay from La Paz. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
My name is Naushin and I'm from Sambeto, and I love Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
In business tonight, supermarket giant New World plans to bring more IGA supermarkets to Fiji. Speaking exclusively to FBC News, Chief Executive Anil Patel tells us their future plans. New World has two scopes of work. This is the standard supermarket and the American-Australian grocery store franchise IGA.
Upgrade projects this year, but I think there'll be more IGA stores coming along.
Having more IGA stores means bringing a wider range of products for customers.
The growth plan for us is to look at opportunities, new opportunities for IGA, but also looking at which of our current stores need to be refreshed and which ones can we upgrade into an IGA format.
When asked whether New World would be stepping into another field, Patel said retail was their forte and they will continue to focus on bringing better shopping experiences for Fijians. With the increased numbers of Fijian business Businesses and travelers to Hong Kong and Singapore, Digicel Fiji has introduced a new roaming plan. Chief Executive Darren McLean says the aim of this service is to allow Fijians to stay connected despite the distance. The new destination marks 14 countries on Digicel's roaming service. McLean adds this promotion is timely with the Hong Kong Sevens this weekend, followed by the Singapore Sevens next weekend. Now with a glance at our economic calendar for this week, here's Elizabeth from HFC Bank.
Thanks, Rachel. And yes, there are a number of very important economic data to look forward to. As of yesterday, the United States reported that its construction spending and manufacturing data were positive overall, affirming the economic steady improvement and helping lift the US dollar. Today, the Reserve Bank of Australia will be making a decision on their interest rate. Reuters poll indicates that they will maintain it at 1.5%. On Thursday, the Chinese President Xi Jinping is going to meet with the US President Donald Trump. In an interview with the Financial Times, Trump held out the possibility of using trade as a lever to secure Chinese cooperation against North Korea. And lastly, on Friday, we have the US non-farm payrolls for the month of March, which is expected to decrease to 180,000 from 235,000. Its unemployment rate, however, is expected to remain the same at 4.7%. Vinaka.
Thanks, Elizabeth. On to today's exchange rates. The Chinese yuan and the American dollar continues to weaken against our dollar, closing at 3.25 and 47 cents respectively. Closer to home, the Australian dollar strengthened to close at 61 cents, while the New Zealand and PNG kina weakened, closing at 66 cents and 1.31. Onto the commodities market, oil dropped to close at $50.28 a barrel. Gold rose, closing at $1,247 an ounce, with silver remaining steady since yesterday, closing at $18.22 an ounce. In growing Fiji tonight, roadworks have begun on Vuli South Road in Nassori that will see the route being stabilized, drainage cleared and extra height added to the existing road to curb issues associated with flooding. Fulton Hogan Highway's stabilizing foreman Inia Hughes says for about a decade now, the drainage has never been cleaned, and often when there is heavy rain, the road gets flooded. Works on Vuli South Road will involve raising the road by 200 millimeters to give it extra height, which will allow water to flow easily through the surface onto the road and into the drains. Fulton Hogan Highways is also stabilizing a stretch of about 555 meters. And that's it from Business Tonight. Now to sports, and here's Jamie with the latest.
Thanks, Rachel, and good evening. Up ahead in sports, reinforcements join Blues camp ahead of CVC clash. This and more after the break.
Warong na Radio Fiji 1.
Bulan erango fina wa korviri nandi, autotalitaka na warongo na Radio Fiji 1. Na programa ni mas masu na mataklailai.
Oya ochone kurinambila mai bunangoro na makete hinga toka kwe do talitakini na barorongo na Radio Fiji 1 gene na domo ibiti.
Na Radio Fiji 1 na domo ibiti na vonga ni BNN.
The New Zealand Sevens team looks forward to unleashing Fijian winger Toseva Ravavo at the Hong Kong tournament this weekend. He becomes the latest Fijian to join the All Black Sevens and will link up with Vilimoni Koroi for the adopted nation. Two of the biggest football rivals on the local scene will square off this weekend in a two-match series for the Pillay Garments champion versus champion title. While Mba have long been traditional champions, the Blues camp remain optimistic with the return of a number of senior reps. Vasnil Prasad has more.
The Lautoka football side know they have to dig deep if the long 7-year thirst for the CVC title is to be quenched.
So it is anybody's game, and plus it is a champion versus champion title, and it's a do or die situation. But I know Ba has been the champion for so long, so it will be a tough battle for us, but we'll give a good shot.
Lautoka's recent form in the domestic league speaks volume and will be tagged as the top bet against the Bar side, which has had a topsy-turvy run in 2017 so far.
We are working on our National League campaign, and in between we are also preparing for the CBC, and I hope we will do well in the CBC.
The Blues have been boosted with the return of seasoned defender Zebra Sahib and a bulk of national reps who featured for Fiji against New Zealand recently.
The morale is very high. We are really working hard with the coach and the teammates that we really want to win this tournament CVC.
Lautoka last played Ba in the CVC in 2009 and won the match 7-0.
We'll also won't come light because we know Ba will be also hungry for this win and for this tournament. We're also preparing very hard and tough training going on. So we really want to win this CVC.
Ba has won the CVC title 16 times, but for the Blues, the title has somewhat eluded their cabinet and it gives them an added boost to end the long winless streak. Vashnil Prasad, FBC Sports.
4 athletes from Vidya High School had their first run ever on synthetic tracks at the ANZ Stadium yesterday. It hasn't been an easy journey for the small contingent from Laos, but the soft-spoken athletes are happy to have made the journey nonetheless. Vashnil Prasad has more.
Having a feel of what to expect when the competition starts, these youngsters can be forgiven to have their minds wander at a top-notch facility like Lautala Tracks.
It's very better. Track is very good and preparation is good too.
The journey from Vidya to Suva takes 24 hours via boat, and it hasn't been an easy ride.
PMAC teachers have to wake us up, go for the training from 5:30 to 6:30.
Yesterday was the first time for these athletes to set foot on the red tracks and rub shoulders with some of the fine prospects from the other school who were going through their practice run.
It is good while we are training. And this is track.
Coming from Laos, these 4 athletes have a burden on their shoulders to impress, but they are quietly confident of stamping a mark, even though it may be a tough ask.
One of them is still running barefoot, still feeling, he told me that he's feeling the hotness of the track, but we are trying to get track shoes for them.
It's a dream of every school interested in athletics to be part of the Coca-Cola Games, and what opportunity for these 4 athletes from Laos to stamp their mark against some big schools. Vashnil Prasad, FBC Sports.
The Fiji Table Tennis Association is ready to host 3 major championships which will be held concurrently this month. These are the Oceania Para Table Tennis Championship, the 2017 ITTF Oceania Cup, and the 2017 ITTF Oceania Junior Championships for under 15s and under 18s. Meli Tavanga with the details.
55 players with disabilities around the region will attend the event, believed to be the largest number compared to the past years.
This event is basically a qualification event for the 2018 World Para Championships, as well as a qualification towards the 2020 Paralympics.
The Oceania Cup will consist of top 8 men and women from the region vying to qualify for the 2017 World Cup in Germany.
Involves 40,000 Australian dollars in prize money.
Also, the Oceania Junior Championships, consisting of 2 age groups, will be competing at the championships.
The under 18 event is a qualification for the World Junior Championships that will be held in Italy later on in the year, and the under 15 event consists of a qualification event to select the Oceania team, under 15 team that will attend the World 2017 World Cadet Challenge, which we are also proudly going to be hosting in October.
Fiji Broadcasting Corporation has come on board today as the host broadcaster of the event.
FBC TV is very proud to be associated with this event. It is indeed going to be a great event for Fiji as a whole through our coverage on FBC TV and our 6 radio stations.
The championships will be held from April 13th to 16th with 20 countries around the region including Australia and New Zealand to participate. Meli Tawanga, FBC Sports.
Now to our player of the day, Roger Federer has been in outstanding form this year, even dominating his longtime nemesis Rafael Nadal. Federer beat Nadal for the 3rd time this year on Sunday, 6-3, 6-4, to win the Miami Open and become the tournament's oldest men's champion. That's it from sports this evening. Get your weather update with Angie later on. Also up ahead in the world of the weird and the wonderful, a man who lost his ear in a traffic accident has had a new one grown on his arm and transplanted to his head. That's coming up.
Warong na radio Fiji 1. Bulan evango fina wa koraviri nandi au talitaka na warongo na radio Fiji 1 na programa ni masmasu na mataklailai.
Oya ochone kurinambila mai Bunangoru na makete hinga toka kwe do talitakini na warongo na radio Fiji 1 genya na domoi viti.
Na radio Fiji 1 na domoi viti na bonga ni vienan.
Mobile phones are changing each day, and now there is a new type in the market. Fairphone is an Android-powered smartphone with user-replaceable parts made by workers in humane conditions. Time for the latest in weather and what it's looking like heading into the midweek. Here's Angie.
Hello there and welcome to the Weather World. It was a mixed start to the day as we saw rainy spells, but it all changed to a fine day with plenty of pleasant sunny spells and light winds across most parts of Fiji. Now let's check out what the day was like in the west. It was partly sunny with temperatures in the low 30s. Eastwards from Pakaba to Suva, sunny periods covered much of the area with spotty rain expected by later tonight. And up in Banwalevu, it was cloudy with a few light showers, and today's weather forecast predicts more showers by afternoon for the northerners. At sea, easterly winds 20 to 25 knots. It will be gusty at times with rough seas. And for the tides, the next high tide tomorrow morning will be at 1:36 with a low tide at 7:37. Tomorrow's sunrise will be at 6:05. And also tomorrow, the day looks all clear as it will be dry except the evening period where rain will barge in. Tomorrow stems an interesting change. Suva, Lautoka and Savu Savu will this time have highs of 31. And looking further on to Thursday, it looks absolutely clear with humid conditions overnight. And that, Jackie, is FBC weather for tonight.
Thanks so much for that, Angie. On Fiji and Pulse today, we asked, should LTA look at limiting the number of cars on Fiji roads?
Yes, they should look at the number of cars that are available, which are on the roads, because it's like too much. So it's a major factor that contributes towards greenhouse effect.
It is becoming a dumping place for all the manufacturers around the globe. That contributes a lot in climate change, where the sea level rises and the low-lying coastal areas are being affected by that carbon dioxide or carbon monoxide that car produces.
They should limit the vehicles in India, or else they should provide the police officers on all the junctions to guard the traffic, because from Malolo to reach Nani town it takes nearly half an hour or more.
In the world of the truly weird and the wonderful, an artificial ear which a plastic surgeon grew on a man's arm 3 months ago was successfully transplanted to the patient's head in a surgery in China last week. The man lost his right ear in a traffic accident last year. Recapping the main stories, disturbing suicide figures cause major concern. Fijian judiciary being taught how to handle children's rights. An education ministry worried about decline in interest in science subjects. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. To our poll question this week, we are asking, should stern action be taken against drunkards on streets? Visit our FBC website to answer. Before we go, today's shot of the day comes from the beautiful Mana Island in the Mamanuthas. Sent in by Tiko Turanga, this was the beautiful scene during the sunset yesterday at Mana Island. Not a bad day at the office for some as they watch the beauty of the sun, calling it a day. Send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. Or you can also follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC FBC_ or simply hashtag FBC News. Until next time, from the team and I, good night.
कमल रोशनी है, हम लोगों में रहते हैं और मिर्ची एफएम सबसे बेस्ट स्टेशन है।
हमारा नाम मेसी है, हम गोल्ड टाउन ताबुआ में रहता है और मिर्ची इज हॉट इन ताबुआ।
Hi, we Bagels. We love Mirchi FM because it's hot.
निवेश ताबुआ में रहता हूँ, सुनता है यहाँ मिर्ची FM is very hot.
Mirchi FM, it's hot.